Hello Muslim friends in the world. In a small town in Indiana lived a young Christian couple, Ethan and Lily, who had just welcomed their first baby boy. They had been married for 3 years, and throughout their marriage, they had hoped to have a child. Ethan and Lily were known as a loving couple, supportive of each other, and they always made faith the cornerstone of their household. It was a bright Saturday when Lily began to feel the first signs of labor. Ethan immediately took her to the hospital with a heart full of anticipation, praying continuously for everything to go smoothly. After several hours of waiting, their baby's cry filled the room with incredible joy. They named their son Caleb, which means brave in their faith. When they saw Caleb's tiny face for the first time, Ethan and Lily felt overwhelmed with love. They felt how God was working in their lives and had given them an invaluable gift. In their hearts, they believed that Caleb was the answer to their prayers. Once they returned home, their lives changed. Long nights were filled with baby cries and shifts to hold little Caleb. Although sometimes tired, Ethan and Lily always reminded each other that Caleb was a blessing. They set aside time to pray together by Caleb's bedside every night, asking God for wisdom in raising their son according to love and faith. As time went by, Ethan and Lily became more convinced that being parents was a special calling in their lives. They committed to raising Caleb in an environment full of love and trust in God. However, on the day of the baptism, as they stood in the church with family and friends, something unexpected happened. When the pastor asked for the name to be given, Caleb, who was usually calm, suddenly started crying. Even more surprisingly, when Ethan tried to soothe him, Caleb babbled something that sounded like Muhammad. Ethan and Lily looked at each other in confusion. At such a young age, Caleb couldn't yet speak clearly, let alone recognize foreign words. They assumed it was just a coincidence and didn't think much of it. The pastor continued the ceremony, but Caleb refused to calm down. His cries grew louder each time the ceremony continued, as if he sensed something. The atmosphere turned quiet, and only Caleb's softening cries could be heard. Ethan and Lily, still trying to understand what was happening, stood in silence, unsure of what to do. The pastor, who was about to continue the ceremony, stopped, as if sensing something profound. He looked at Caleb with mixed feelings: surprise, wonder, and a sense of being touched by something unseen. In silence, the pastor pondered what had just happened, reflecting deeply, as though gaining a new understanding. As that day ended, the pastor decided to delve into the feelings he experienced. He began to learn more about various religions, including Islam, with an open heart. He read, explored, and found new meaning in many things. Throughout his spiritual journey, he felt peace in the greatness of God's power, something he had never felt before. Finally, after a long period of deep reflection, the pastor made the significant decision to embrace Islam. For Ethan and Lily, the pastor's spiritual journey led them to an understanding of diversity and the beauty of genuine faith-seeking. This event became a profound moment for everyone present, reminding them that God can work in ways we often don't expect, opening doors to understanding and love for everyone. When news of their pastor converting to Islam began to spread, the church congregation felt surprised, confused, and curious. The pastor had been a significant part of their lives for many years, and his decision made many people wonder about the reasons and spiritual experiences that had led him there. With great humility, the pastor invited the congregation to gather, not to impose any choices but to share the spiritual experience he had undergone. He spoke of his journey, his doubts, his search, and the peace he had ultimately found. As he spoke, he emphasized the importance of seeking truth with an open heart and allowing God to guide each step. Many in the congregation listened intently, deeply moved by the story and sincerity of their former pastor. They began to question their own faith and, with open hearts, sought a deeper understanding of Islam and other religions. Some of them decided to start reading the Quran, attending interfaith gatherings, and discussing with other Muslims to gain deeper insights. This spiritual journey led many in the congregation to a new understanding of Islam, and many ultimately chose to embrace Islam as well. They felt they had found a peace they had not known before and a closer connection with God. The story of this church congregation became an inspiration for many in their small town, serving as a reminder that each person's spiritual path is unique and filled with blessed surprises. Ethan and Lily, who had experienced this extraordinary moment with their son Caleb, also felt a newfound peace and viewed the spiritual journey as evidence that God works in beautiful and mysterious ways. As more members of the church decided to embrace Islam, Ethan and Lily felt compelled to explore the religion that was now widely discussed in their community. They recalled the moment when Caleb mentioned the name Muhammad on the day of his baptism and sensed that something greater was at work in their lives. Ethan and Lily began attending gatherings with Muslims in their town. They listened to explanations about Islamic teachings, read the Quran, and engaged in discussions with their new friends. Over time, they discovered many similarities between the Christian faith they had previously practiced and the values taught in Islam, such as love, forgiveness, and gratitude. After months of seeking understanding and experiencing peace in their hearts, Ethan and Lily finally decided to convert to Islam. They felt that this step was part of the faith journey they were on as a family and as parents to Caleb. In a simple ceremony, they recited the Shahada, acknowledging that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. The news of their decision to convert also reached the ears of Ethan and Lily's parents. Initially, their parents felt worried and confused. However, after hearing their children's stories and witnessing the positive changes in them, they decided to explore Islam further. Over time, they too felt a newfound tranquility and happiness in their lives. Ultimately, in a joyful moment, Ethan and Lily's parents also decided to embrace Islam, completing their spiritual journey with firm conviction. This extended family was now united in their new faith, supporting each other in living a life filled with love, understanding, and gratitude. Their journey became an inspiration for many in the community, demonstrating that spiritual quests often lead us to unexpected places and bring families closer together in enduring faith and affection.